Hi, I'm Sean Gleason, CEO and Commissioner of the Professional Bull Riders, and you're listening to Like a Farmer.
Hey, y'all, it's Pat. Welcome to another episode of Like a Farmer. Y'all have been following me now for about 18 months. Y'all know the guests that I get on the show. I got to say, I'm super excited for this one. I've been freaking out all week because what this gentleman beside me has built when it comes to PBR is incredible. As always, on Wednesday, you can catch me on YouTube or wherever you listen to your audio podcast. Mr. Sean Gleason.
Pat, good to be on.
Dude, I'm nerding out now, right off the bat. I have a gift for you, okay?
All right.
So, first, right off the bat.
A PBR Team's helmet?
Yeah,
Great.
there you
I didn't
go.
have any of those.
Hey, cut to the chase is what I call this game right here. It's presented by Case Knives.
Oh.
I actually have a case knife for you there.
All right.
Today, how do you feel PBR if you had to just give a couple cents about it? What do you think? Because in my opinion, John, I think it's the fastest growing non-ball and bat sport in the world. I might just be making that up, but I want you to tell me what you feel like today.
You know, it's hard for me to weigh in on that given my perspective, and it's taken 26 years to get here. But I think if you look at the metrics in the marketplace and the TV viewership, the attendance growth, everything we've had, we got to be up there and certainly the top of the all sports in terms of growth.
I think it's incredible what y'all are doing. And let me just kind of go on a little rant. You know, we started this company now 18, 24 months ago, and we started to see this lifestyle of people wanting to wear cowboy hats, wear cowboy boots, drive a pickup truck, listen to country music, go outside, learn how to shoot a gun, learn how to catch a fish. It's this wave. I call it the rural America lifestyle. But in your eyes, because listen, you go stand in that arena and you look around, it's more than just people that come from the farm or come from the ranch. I mean, you're bringing all sorts of audiences. What do you think about this lifestyle and how popular it's gotten?
Well, you know, a lot of people have asked the question, oh, are you now, you know, is the PBR now making it because, you know, Yellowstone opened the door? And I'm like, that's not exactly right. We've been doing this for 32 years, taking bull riding into Madison Square Garden or LA, downtown. And really the premise of the entire PBR is to put the best bull riders on the best bulls, wrap it in a great entertaining package, and take it where they don't usually get it. And so we've been opening doors to the Western lifestyle for a long time.
It's incredible. And you remind me again before the cameras turned on, 20-something years you've been with...
26.
26. So tell me what it was like 26 years ago to what it is now. And like, how crazy has that changed?
Well,
like when you walked in the door
change.
26 years ago, I mean, what were you looking at?
Like 6 or 7 people that were making a lot of stuff happen. You know, a small group of people. Randy Bernard hired me, and he's to this day one of my best friends in the world. And he hired me and brought me in, and we didn't have a whole lot of resources at the time. A lot of the events were co-promoted with people because we weren't really, we didn't have the same production capabilities that we have today. There were a lot of partnerships that fueled the business. We had a TV deal early days with TNN and then OLN. They produced all of our television broadcasts, and over time I brought all that in-house. So now we run everything. I mean, we produce our own TV broadcasts. Every event is owned and operated by the PBR. And so it's definitely changed from the old model, but it's still the same product. Still the best bull riders and the best bulls. You do that, put them together, and magic happens.
God, I could go literally way into left field and continue to talk about it, which we will. But first, tell me about Sean. Like, where'd you grow up? How'd you get into this lifestyle? I mean, how'd you get a passion for bull riding in this sport alone?
Well, I actually grew up on the back of a horse in eastern Washington. Spent most of my weekends on my horse and did a little roping, a lot of riding, and worked for every farmer that was out on that side of town, and grew up in a very rural environment and spent most of my youth trying to figure out how to get out of there. Went to college, worked in the music business for about 10 years,
Okay.
and during that period of time, I started trying to figure out how I got back to, you know, the smaller, more rural lifestyle. And along the way, went and made some computer games for a while with Sierra Online and ran the sports division, and I made a bull riding computer game. I met the guys, Randy and the guys that started the PBR, and looked like a lot more fun, and found my calling.
Washington, people forget now, that's a very, there's always rural America in every state that you go. And you had a saying, I think y'all take Cowboy across the country. There's some sort of quote out there.
Yeah.
I mean, what does that, go into detail exactly what you mean by that?
Well, you know, you take cowboy hats to Madison Square Garden, and it's not an everyday thing. I mean, we've got we just sold out all 3 performances in Madison Square Garden. I think we've been there 18 years now. And back in the early days, we were handing out tickets on the sidewalk, trying to get anybody to come in and check the sport out. And then over the years, you just constantly work through marketing and the great product. You get people to give it trial. And all of a sudden, we hook them with the spectacle of bull riding, like the danger and, the uniqueness to a New Yorker that these crazy guys are going to get on these bulls. And then they come and they get hooked on the sport. They start to realize that it's not crazy guys getting on these bulls, that there's no abuse of the animals, that that they're athletes, they're professionals. And once they get into the sport, we have them hooked for life. And we do that everywhere across the country. There's virtually not a state or a city that we haven't had an event.
It's unbelievable. Now tell me, and I appreciate you growing up on the farm and having to learn the value of a dollar, work ethic 24/7. There's no Monday through Friday. It's Monday through Sunday. What are some of the things that you learned on the farm that you kind of bring to an everyday aspect here at PBR?
Well, I think what you just said, I mean, you start moving water pipes for 10 cents a piece, you figure out how many, how fast and how many you can move if you've got a goal of buying something or, having enough money in your pocket to do what you want to do. And obviously on the farm and the ranch, it never stops. You feed the animals before you feed yourself. You cut the hay, and then you get up and bale it a few days later at 3-4 o'clock in the morning. You plant the wheat, you cut the wheat, you haul the wheat to town. It never stops. And you really do learn the value of a dollar and hard day's work. And I think that, I've often said every kid in America should have to go work on a farm for a couple of months in a summer during their lifetime, because it'd teach them values that the value of hard work, and that this life isn't just handed to you. You got to go make the most of it.
Well, there's your clip right there, man. We should just call it. I mean, that saying right, hit it right on the head. You don't seem like a guy that just comes in here and becomes CEO. And I feel like even today as CEO, you're probably still seeing all aspects of it. How did that, when you started that long ago, where did you start, and how have you climbed that ladder to become where you are today here at PBR?
Well, I think the fortunate part for me was actually out of college landing with a startup music and video company in Seattle. And
what kind of music?
It was actually new age and adult contemporary. So There was a lot of stuff I couldn't listen to from beginning to end, being an 80s metal band, metal guy. But, I appreciated the music. It was great music, and I learned how to sell it. And I learned how to promote it. And it was a startup, and so there wasn't this playbook, really, that, the industry had a playbook, but this business didn't. And so I had to learn a lot of things on the fly from the people that we were working with at the time. And I learned how to be creative and take some risks. I think that's one of the biggest things. That's my MBA, is that period of time where I learned how to dive in, roll up your sleeves, not take no for an answer, and just get creative and make things happen.
One question that comes right off my mind after you saying that, what type of music are you tuning into now? I mean, you still on the contemporary side, or when Sean's driving to work, what's he cranking up?
I had Y2 Country on this morning, so that's, a lot of, depending on the mood. But last night on the way home, I made my daughter and her friend listen to Volbeat. So, and then I was preaching to them how this is the most current band that represents the era of music I grew up in, with, Poison and AC/DC and Judas Priest and
God, I love that, man.
I mean, I grew up a rocker, and I still love it to this day. So
that's fantastic.
Air Nation's on a lot.
You mentioned one word, and I think everybody should know how to do it no matter what industry you're in, and that is promoting. I think you're one of the best promoters in the game. I really do. I would put Sean Gleason and Jake Paul right up there on the same level. Jake doesn't mean he's claimed that he's a boxer, and everybody believes it. How do you go about promoting this sport? Because I'm telling you, Sean, and we're going to talk a little bit about it. There's more people if I could probably tell you who's in that audience that you like. damn, that guy's a football player, that guy's an actor, that guy's a musician. I mean, you're promoting this sport better than anybody. I mean, how are you doing that?
Again, you get creative with your marketing, your promotion. It starts with a great product. Like, you have to have something that is a phenomenal product. And so when you start with the best bull riders and the best bulls in the world, you can screw up a little bit and not mess up the whole thing. But on the marketing side of things, I always tell everybody that I want people with a PhD, and it's not from the university. It's passion, hunger, and desire. Like, be ready to not take no for an answer. And we always start out when we're promoting PBR with one foot in the grave, because the traditional ad buyers and the media people in New York and the press, they're not familiar with rodeo. And they think that bull riding, dirt, bulls, cowboy hats, all of it is not like them. It's not familiar to them. And so you not only start out having to market and promote whatever it is that you're trying to promote, whether it's lacrosse or, you're building pickleball or beach volleyball into a legitimate sport. In our case, we start out with people that are like, I don't like that. I don't look like them. I don't like dirt. I don't like animals, whatever that issue is. And so you have to work even harder. You've got to go convince them that that all of the misconceptions and perception issues they have that keep them from covering your sport or coming out and enjoying it are all wrong. And then you get them there, and we win them forever because it's a great product.
Dude, you kidding me? And you go to one, announcement, you go to one of these PBR events, you will be hooked, especially this new team aspect we got going on, and we're going to dig into that. But before, because I want to ask you this, you're very educated in this space, and you're very educated in trying to convince people that something like this is actually good. Why is it, like, when you think about these farmers and ranchers out of the country that, number one, are feeding us and clothing us every single day, and there's just so much adversity and speed bumps that we always have to go through, and it's all comes down to a knowledge thing. Like, why do you think that is? I mean, farming's one of the most thankless jobs in the world, and people just assume that their beef just lands in the grocery store,
I don't know. It's crazy. That's why I think everybody should have to work one summer on a farm. So you'll learn that, that it's a lot of blood, sweat, and tears that went into getting that steak on your table. And, it's, again, I think it's a lot of education. The social media hasn't done us any favors. The attention span of the current generation is like that of a gnat. And, and they're more interested in what they look like in their selfie than anything that might educate or teach them about life. So it's good that you're doing what you're doing, and maybe we'll get a few of them, right?
Appreciate it. Yeah, absolutely.
It's one at a time. You got to just keep beating the drum until we get them one at a time.
You're exactly right. Now, before we go on to this team aspect, I play a game on this show, okay?
All right.
It's called the Question Game, presented by LEVRACK. I've got a couple questions here, and I just complete honesty, whatever comes to your mind, all right? You're stuck in an elevator with one of your bull riders. Who would you want it to be?
Good question. Robson Palermo.
Why is that?
He's just one of my favorites from all time. He's such a PBR blue blood. He's just one of the nicest guys that I've ever known on the tour. From Brazil, but came here, became a U.S. citizen. He's a PBR blue blood. Love Robson.
Brazil seems like a huge pipeline when you think from Brazil to bull riding.
Yeah.
Why is that? Can you educate me on that a little bit?
I think,
Are they just being born and grown up on a bull out there? Or?
There's definitely a historical culture of cowboy culture in Brazil. So bull riding's been around for a long time. And it probably, it was kind of going through the same phases that rodeo's gone through in the United States, where it used to be the thing that happened at Madison Square Garden. Like, it was, every town had a rodeo, and it was the biggest event of the year for a lot of those places, and it was the centerpiece of entertainment. And then over time, people started getting more urbanized, and rodeo fell out of favor, and largely because it didn't change. And in Brazil, it was the same thing. I think Rodeo was on its way down, and then all of a sudden PBR comes along. A Brazilian kid can come up here, make $3, $4, $5 million in a relatively short period of time, go back home and buy 5 ranches. And
You're right. It's a great point.
it's Renato Nunez was a great example. Came up here, wins the world championship, goes back home, and my understanding now is he's running several profitable ranches, and he's got a big spread, and he's doing great down there. And a guy like Robson, Robson literally came from nothing. I mean, dirt floors in the jungle in Brazil, learned how to bull ride, made his way out of there, and it changed his life forever. And so it's a significant material change in the fortunes of a Brazilian kid, where in the U.S. over the years it's not. I don't think it's got as much meaning, in terms of
makes sense.
Of it's not their only opportunity out for some young kids, and you got to really want it to get on a bull and risk life and limb.
No kidding.
And there's other ways that you can make a mark and make your living. And for these Brazilian kids that come up, there's other ways to do it, but they're never going to get rich.
Yeah.
And they can get rich riding bulls.
Damn straight. Craziest PBR moment of your career that wasn't on camera?
The bull getting loose in Calgary and running through the streets as we tried to wrangle it for about 2 hours.
That was one of y'all's bulls, one of the PBR bulls.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the PBR event in Calgary. And it ultimately got corralled into somebody's backyard by a mail carrier driving one of those carts that look like a Jeep, like the little tin can mail cart. And he got in the hunt and just kind of nudged that bull in through that gate. And then that was after a couple hours of running around town and clearing sidewalks and moving horses around with trailers. And it was quite the ordeal.
Okay, last one. Who's the most unexpected celebrity that is a fan of the PBR?
Oh, good question.
Because there's a ton of them.
I know. It's hard to say these days. Unexpected. I mean, it's the almost anybody that's been out to it becomes a fan at some level. I think that Sylvester Stallone was, pretty interesting. Oh, I know who the guy that is most unexpected, and he's one of my heroes from childhood and college days. Gene Simmons from Kiss.
Oh.
He.
How do you know he's a fan? Did he just show up, or did he really?
I didn't know. I used to talk to him all the time. He wanted to do a TV show with us. He ended up coming to Anaheim, rode the mechanical bull in his leather pants at the Anaheim event, and ultimately they recorded. The whole band recorded a Kiss Cam message for us. So the band came on, and Paul Stanley says, "Hey, PBR fans, this is Kiss, and it's time for the Kiss Cam." And then Gene Simmons says, "Don't be afraid to give her a little tongue." And there's the tongue. And so I think having Gene Simmons be a fan of bull riding was probably a pretty big shock for me.
God, that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
What a great story.
Yeah.
All right, so I want you to take me to the day. This team aspect you got going. You got a draft. You've got now these cities getting on board. You've got the fan experience now, I think, has been elevated. Like, who came up with it? How'd you come up with it? What's going on? Like, that's an unbelievable aspect that you have now put into PBR.
Yeah, the team format was my idea. I drafted up some plans for it many years ago, and it was born from the Global Cup and the World Cup events that we'd done, where we did country versus country as a standalone event, and you just saw some camaraderie and some excitement among the bull riders. You saw the engagement from the fans, and it really got me thinking that if bull riding and PBR's brand of bull riding is truly going to break through to that casual audience that isn't just, no matter how hard we're trying, we're just not cutting through, then we had to become different and more familiar to them. And team sports are familiar to every sports fan. If you follow a PBR Unleash the Beast event, it's a challenge. It's like round one. See, round one's on Friday, and the 45 guys are going to get on a bull. And then their scores, they go to round two, and they each get on another one. Then we bring the top 12 back, and they ride a third bull. And then the event winner is crowned based on the aggregate of all three scores over 3 days.
Yeah, you got to know.
And then you're going to get points, and you're going to move on to the next event. You're going to do that over and over 23 times, and you're going to end up in Texas for the World Finals. It's complicated. And, you know, traditional bull riding fans, they completely understand it. It's second nature to them if they grew up around it. But a more casual sports fan, it's a difficult challenge and not familiar. So team sports, we didn't change bull riding. I didn't change the rules of bull riding. It's one hand in the rope, one hand in the air, 8 seconds. All the same rules apply. It's still a very individual feat for these cowboys to do what they do. But we put the scores in a bucket, and it's 5 guys against 5 guys. And that's familiar to a more casual sports fan, and it's working.
Is it? I mean, it's unbelievable. Now, when you say it's working, you sound pretty confident about that. You're just looking at numbers, or you just word of mouth, obviously, social media. I mean, there's probably a bunch of things why you're saying that.
Every metric we have is growing exponentially. I mean, you know, we expanded. I had intended to keep, we sold 8 teams to start, or six of 8 teams to start, and I had intended to keep 2 of them for a couple of years. There's so much interest that we sold those 2 before the end of the first year, and then expanded a year later. We're going out and hitting the market and expanding, and we expanded to 10 teams this past season. And
who's buying these? I mean, have you got some of these owners of these teams that just surprise the heck out of you? Like, golly, they're... Because I think, obviously, when you're buying teams, yes, there's a business venture in there, but you're not just buying a team just for business. I think that might be some of it, but you're going to be passionate about your product.
Well, I think any sports owner will tell you that if you're in it for the return on investment, don't get in it.
That's correct.
And so it's a passion play for most of these folks that have the good fortune to have enough money to be able to afford a hobby like an NFL team or a PBR bull riding team. And well, it is still a business. We're still working hard to make every team profitable and happy and make it a great investment, because they can be both. But most of our owners are in this because they love the sport. They love the concept of the teams and how it works. And, you know, I'm really proud of the ownership group that we've assembled and in the 10 teams that we have. And we'll expand again at some point in time. In the next few years, we'll expand again. And I get probably a call every 2 weeks on somebody that wants to buy a team.
Hey, y'all, it's Pat with Like a Farmer. Are you looking to add some local flavors to your recipes? Well, visit freshfromflorida.com today, where you can browse hundreds of delicious recipes that bring Florida freshness to your table all year round. Become a Fresh from Florida member for free and create your own menus. Save and send your favorite dishes and get exclusive access to monthly newsletters packed with fresh local recipes. I can promise you, you will be a favorite in your neighborhood. From the Florida fields to your fork, year-round freshness and flavor are just a logo away. Fresh from Florida, there's a sunshine in every bite. Hey, y'all, today's episode is brought to you by Ag America, your go-to financial partner for all things agriculture. As the largest independent financial firm dedicated to rural America, Ag America is changing the game when it comes to ag lending and leveling up finance options for farmers, ranchers, and landowners across the nation. And I'll let you know a little secret. The thing that sets this company apart from the rest is the people. They understand firsthand the unique needs of American farmers and ranchers because many of them grew up on farms themselves. They take a farmer-focused approach to finance, prioritizing relationships over transactions to help you build a stronger financial foundation for you and your family. So whether you're looking to buy land or secure working capital, Ag America has your back. Visit agamerica.com today to learn more and see how they can help you achieve long-term financial success. Because when farmers thrive, we all do. So you're basically like commissioner now. I mean, you're Commissioner Sean.
Well, yeah, I'm CEO and commissioner.
Yeah, I love that.
I have 2 titles. Yeah.
You know what I think would be cool?
Three jobs, 2 titles.
Exactly. Yeah,
So,
I could see that. You know, I think, and I lay down at night and I think about, okay, this makes a lot of sense. And you might say, Pat, we're doing that. I think now you've got this team aspect, and you've got the fans, and prior to going into the arena, I think you've got an arena, an avenue to have like a college game day aspect where you have a pre-show outside of the arena, and you have the athletes or celebrities that are coming in to watch. Because I've talked to some of these people that have been on the show have literally said, yeah, I take my family to PBR. I'm a huge fan of this team aspect because now I can cheer for something. I think we should do like a game day style, but for the rodeo.
They're starting.
Okay.
We've been doing them, and there'll be some pre-shows at the finals, and then you'll see them in most of the team markets.
Golly.
Along the way, that's the other, I guess, fundamental of why to do teams too, is we're able to build fandom in these markets. So in Kansas City or Nashville or
New York,
Austin, New
Florida.
York, the fans now have something local to root for that survives bull rider retiring or getting injured and being out for 2 years. And you know, most people are fans of all the bull riders, not one or the other. They're certainly not rooting against most bull riders, right? They might root They might root for somebody a little more. That's their favorite. But in the case of teams, it survives the bull riders. I mean, you know, when you're a New York Mavericks fan, it doesn't matter if your favorite guy got traded, you still need to hang in there and wear that uniform or that jersey and root on your team.
You're obviously doing bull riding year round, and these team owners, which then goes down to the GMs, I mean, they're just choosing who they want in this draft. And is it 1-year deals, multi-year deals?
The way that the league is set up is that the riders are only obligated to compete for the team that drafts them for 1 year,
Gotcha.
Unless they enter into a longer-term contract with the team, which most guys enter into longer-term contracts with the team. But if they're drafted, they have 1 year that they have to compete for the team that brought them in. Then they become a free agent. So we didn't want to, put any undue burden on the riders and limit in any way, shape, or form their earning potential. So they've got a 1 year exclusive window, and then they get to be a free agent. But I don't think there's any drafted rider that's ever not gotten a deal from their team.
Any trades going on during the season?
Oh, there's all sorts of them. Yeah.
Oh, hell yeah.
Oh, yeah. My favorite part. I'm a sports geek, so it's the behind the scenes stuff that gets me excited, and I get the inside scoop. Obviously, being the commissioner, I got to stamp them all. But you'll see, like Clay Guyton was just traded from Oklahoma to Carolina, and I'm like, wow. And then he rises up. He's sitting in number 4 in the world, so 4 or 5.
You gotta love stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Why would you do that? And there's a lot of reasons why they do that, but yeah, I love that piece of it. I love the statistics that come out of it. The riding percentages that now mean more in the context of, you look at an individual, if he's sitting in 25th place in the world, does it really matter if he got bucked off that one bull on Friday night, or and now it does. Like, that one ride could change a win-loss for a team, or one buck off. And when you know and understand all the nuance to what's going on, it's like, it just makes every ride mean everything. There's so much riding on all the rides.
Yeah, and I think with this new format, it's an easier appetite to understand what's going on. I mean, like I said, everybody I talk to, it's like, yeah, well, they're coming to my city and I got this team and that. Like, the two things that I love about it is you're bringing different types of people into this sport now, which is awesome. That's why that game day aspect, I think that's the coolest thing. but it's also the stories of these riders. I've had a few of them on the show. I mean, I'm talking about Blue Mitchell, who has a beautiful story, Keyshawn, who has an awesome story, and then, of course, JB Mauney.
Yeah.
Like, these guys have these stories. Not just, I mean, yeah, when they get on the bull, it's fantastic. Especially JB is one of the greatest to ever do it. Might be the greatest to ever do it. But it's off of the bull that they just have these unbelievable stories, how they grew up, where they grew up, how they get to where they are now. Like, that's so cool. On the who they are off of the bull is just unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, you know, we had a series on Amazon called The Ride.
Yep.
And it dove into a lot of the stories, like, you know, Dalen Swearingen and his dad shot his mom. I mean, it's like, it sounds like made up fiction.
Yeah, you can't make this up.
Yeah, and, you know, and then here Dalen rises through the ranks. He's bull riding as a path forward for him, becomes a world champion. He's, you know, his mom sat with me this past weekend, and, you know, it's just getting to hear some of their stories and understanding, because these, with very, very few exceptions, most of these kids grow up very humble, you know, and
couldn't agree more.
They grow up and learn hard work and the values that you grow up with if you work on a farm or a ranch or you're a cowboy. And they don't have a lot. Like, their parents certainly have means, and they're putting them through school and providing for them, but they're not coming from, you know, a lot of wealth to get into sport. And so when you learn and hear some of the stories of how they grew up, what they had to do to get here, I work even harder to make sure that we put more money in their pockets.
Damn.
When you get to know them.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
When you were watching JB ride a bull, I mean, how incredible was it?
You know, it was to watch him pick Bushwhacker, you know, every time. I think it was, 15 times or something, and he rode him once. To watch that kid pick that bull every time and just keep going at him and keep going at him. I was standing on the back of the chutes in Tulsa when he finally rode him, and man, I mean, just he had the raw talent. He had more raw talent than anybody we'd seen come along in a long time, but it really is his attitude. It's his toughness. It's like, that's what made him different. Like, just, he never, ever doubted himself.
Yeah, his ability. Yeah.
You never saw him being worried about getting hurt, you know, I mean.
And when he did get hurt, he didn't really care. He was going to get back up.
Yeah.
That and he's such a great friend, and like, just his story and like what he's doing now with Oklahoma, it truly is a movie.
Yeah.
Because you know he wants to be out there so bad.
Yeah.
I mean, Sean, you know JB wants to be on a bull right now.
I know. You can just see it in his eyes, but you know, he's got to stay right where he is.
Yeah, you hear it, JB?
Yeah.
Stay on that side of the gate.
I've had to tell him, don't jump in the arena to save your guys. That's the job of the bullfighters. Get back on the chutes, you're fine.
Yeah.
You know?
Speaking of just the movie side, I mean, all this new media that's coming out. I mean, Neil's got the movie out.
Yeah.
You have the stuff on Amazon. I mean, how cool is it to see now Hollywood? I don't even like saying Hollywood, because most of those guys are getting out of Hollywood, but just that type of media showing the attention of this.
Well, we need more of it. We need these stories to get out into the broader world. And, you know, I had a chance to meet Neil a couple years ago, and he was setting off on this course to create the last rodeo, and we were fortunate enough to be able to work with him to craft it into the story of PBR and as the backdrop to the whole thing, which I've seen the movie twice now. I was at a private screening, and then I saw it at the premiere earlier this week again, and it's a really, really good movie. Like, I'm proud of it. We produced the bull riding scenes in it.
Are you in it?
No. No, he wanted me to make a cameo, and I'm not usually one to jump in front of the camera in situations like that. So, but you know, it's a really, really good movie, and it tells a story that, you know, goes way beyond bull riding. You'll talk to Neil and find out he's like one of the nicest guys in the world.
Oh, I'm stoked.
But asked him why he had to wear a teal-colored hat, cowboy hat, and if he says anything other than he lost a bet to me, then he's lying. So.
Okay, good. We need to remember to do that, yeah.
Miami Dolphins colored cowboy hat.
Yeah.
Dolphins fan.
Are you?
He's a Patriots fan.
So you're a Dolphins fan?
Die hard.
Okay. Just now, I've had a few of the Dolphin players. Zach
Zach will be here tomorrow.
Zach will?
Yeah.
Seiler?
Yeah.
Oh,
coming in tomorrow.
We're gonna
He's coming for the
FaceTime his
he's coming
ass.
for the weekend.
Love that guy.
Yeah.
We've had some of the Finn players on, but why? Why are you a Miami Dolphins fan?
My mom bought me a Letterman jacket when I was 10 years old in 1974, and I've been a diehard fan ever since.
This is all making a ton of sense. So when PBR was down in South Florida, that's when all the Dolphin players
Right.
came to the
Right.
event. And I had Blake Ferguson. Blake's such a great friend. He just got released from. He's the long snapper.
He just texted me yesterday. He's going to come out and hang out for a while. So
Blake did?
yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
we just talked to him. And that's when it hit me. I'm like, man, it's crazy what this sport's doing now of bringing all these other athletes coming to watch it.
Yeah.
Like, it's unbelievable.
There's a bunch of Cowboys players coming this weekend. Dak will be there tomorrow night, and Jake Ferguson, and
Isn't that so cool to
yeah,
see?
and it's awesome, and they really do appreciate the sport, and they look at these guys as athletes and appreciate what they do, and they're just good people, they're all good people, and you like to surround yourself with good people.
Spot on. What else? So tell me some. I know you've got some stuff in your head of like what's coming down the pipeline. What other ideas? How are you going to continue to grow this sport? Anything cool that you can talk about yet?
Honestly, we've got so much on our plates right now with the launch of the team series. It's still in its infancy. We've got growing events and growing media. We've got to traverse the waters in our media rights negotiations, and there's so much on the table that it's not time to reinvent or create anything new. And then, of course, I created Kid Rock's Rock and Rodeo. But
Okay. When
yeah.
now
That's tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did that start?
Last year, we did the first one.
So how did you come up with that?
Actually came up with it. I knew when I launched PBR Teams that there was an opportunity in and around rodeo to do something similar. There was an opportunity to create, again, keep the sanctity of the sport and how it works, but change the game, right? I mean, it's now a team-based head-to-head format, and my favorite quotes from last year are some of the old-timers coming up to me and saying, who would have thought you could make timed events more interesting than the rough stock, And we did. I mean, the barrel race was a horse race. It was, we go head-to-head. They're going at the same time, and it's best one moves on, and doesn't matter if the loser's time is faster than the next contestants in the head-to-head matchups. It's head-to-head. And so it changed the game, and again, it made it more compelling for and understandable for a casual Kid Rock fan sitting in the stands. But it was fleshed out and born really on Kid Rock's porch.
I'm sure there's been a lot of them.
Over a few cocktails.
Yeah. You want to talk about another fan of the sport? Golly.
Yeah. He
Dude's ate up at it.
And he, he was, we were introduced because he was interested in teams and what we were doing there. Had a chance to spend some time together, and he said that he loved bull riding and loved what we were doing, but he was really interested in rodeo and all disciplines, and that's where we sat on the porch, and I said, well, I got an idea. And it wasn't just to reimagine rodeo in the competition structure. It was also, I've been, anybody that'll listen to me, I've been talking about what a disservice it is in the rodeo industry, where the rodeo has become the opening act for, a big music act in Houston, in Cheyenne, and Cheyenne still puts a lot of value into its rodeo, so I don't want to.
Yeah, I understand.
But I've been to the Houston rodeo a few times in the last few years, and there's not a lot of people in the stands when that rodeo starts, and they miss a lot of the action, and they'll show up at the end and be
For
there.
the music.
Whatever music act's going on, and I just don't let that happen. We integrate music at PBR, but you know, it's not a model. It's not our model. Like, we don't want to be the opening act for anybody. And
It's a great take.
and if people aren't there to be entertained by the best bull riders and bulls in the world, then don't come. And so with Kid Rock, part of the mission that I laid out and said I wanted to try and accomplish was integrating music and entertainment in and around the rodeo, so it's one and the same. It's a presentation that night of rock and rodeo. And in that formula, we just, you know, the last year's event ran long, and that was really the only downside to any of it. Was it was the first time, and it took us about an hour and a half too long to pull off the execution. But no, we didn't lose anybody, and that thing was entertaining from beginning to end. And you know, to open the show and have Kid Rock curating entertainment throughout, and then to cap off the night, you know, that's we called it a mashup of rodeo and entertainment. So,
Dude, the ideas that you've come up with, Sean, are unbelievable. And I said this at the beginning of the show. This was going to be my favorite episode, and just learning from you, talking to you, it's been awesome.
well, I appreciate the chance.
And please continue to, you know, let us know what we can do to help. I mean, I love telling the stories of these bull riders, but I love bringing these other industries into this sport. And I know you've got some media opportunities coming down the pipeline, so just please keep us in mind, because we love telling this story.
Absolutely, we need more people doing more of it. So,
I appreciate you.
and at the end of the day, we're going to win. So.
That's a great finish right there. Hey, and as always, I appreciate y'all tuning in to Like a Farmer every single Wednesday. You can catch us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your audio podcasts. And always remember, like, comment, subscribe, share, do whatever you got to do to be like a farmer.